Imagine waking up every morning with the same routine, the same demands, the same burdens, and worst of all, the same husband who, despite all his promises, rarely ever changes. You're Marge Simpson. You're the heart of the Simpson family. You hold everything together with kindness, patience, and love. 3 qualities that are both your strength and your curse. And let's be honest, with a husband like Homer, even a saint would have snapped by season 4. On the surface, being Marge doesn't seem all that bad. After all, she's the moral backbone of her family, the one who brings warmth and stability to the chaotic world of Springfield. But what happens when the stability you provide becomes your prison? When your kindness is taken for granted and your dreams are always sacrificed for the needs of everyone else? That's the daily tragedy of Marge Simpson. Tragedy might be a strong word, but then again, have you seen what she has to listen to over dinner every night?
Kids, could you leave the room, please? Faster!
Take a moment to consider her life at 742 Evergreen Terrace. It's always the same. She wakes up early before the sun even creeps over the horizon, not to pursue a passion or chase a dream, but to make sure the house is running like a well-oiled machine. Homer sleeps like a rock, snoring loudly enough to make the windows rattle, while Marge tiptoes around the house, prepping breakfast, packing school lunches, and making sure everything is perfect for her family. She gets so wrapped up in meeting everyone else's needs that she rarely has time to ask herself what she truly wants. Meanwhile, Homer's biggest decision in the morning is which donut to stuff in his mouth first.
Jeez, there's a lot of donuts when you get in early.
And the truth is, even if she did ask herself, she's not sure she'd have an answer anymore. Years of neglecting her own desires have left them buried under piles of laundry and dishes. But she remembers. She remembers the passion she once had for painting, the joy she felt when her brush glides across the canvas and creates something beautiful. She was good at it too. Great even. But art didn't pay the bills, and Homer's job at the nuclear plant was as unstable as his temper. So she let her dream go, exchanged her palette and paintbrush for pots and pans, because nothing screams fulfilling life like arguing with a microwave at 6 a.m. Marge's homemaker skills are second to none. The house is always spotless, her cooking is beloved by everyone who tastes it, and her organizational abilities are the only reason the Simpson household hasn't crumbled into pure chaos. But how often is she thanked for it? How often does anyone pause to appreciate the invisible work she does? Most days, her efforts are met with Homer's complaints about having to eat vegetables, or Bart's grumbling about not getting his way. In fairness, Bart probably thinks vegetables are a government conspiracy. And Lisa? Well, Lisa's love is genuine, but it comes with a side of pity. Even her own daughter sees her as a woman trapped by tradition, held back by a husband who makes messes faster than she can clean them. The hardest part is that Lisa's not wrong. Marge adores her daughter's brilliance and ambition, but it also is a cruel reminder of everything Marge herself could have been. At this point, Lisa might as well run for mayor, and honestly, who'd be better? Definitely not Quimby.
Help! I'm being attacked by, things!
Then there's Bart, her eldest child, the constant troublemaker. Every time he comes home with a new detention slip or another wild scheme gone wrong, it's Marge who tries to steer him back onto the right path. Homer's method of parenting is mostly yelling and strangling, a dynamic that leaves Marge as the gentle hand that tries to heal Bart's bruises, both literal and emotional. Though, let's face it, at this rate, Bart's future is either stand-up comedy or a Netflix docuseries. But Bart's antics wear her down, slowly and surely. The boy she loves so fiercely is also the one who keeps her up at night, worrying herself sick about what he'll become. Sometimes she wonders if her love is enough to save him from himself. And let's not forget, Bart once sold his soul for $5.
There you go. 1 soul.
And of course there's Maggie, sweet, silent Maggie, the baby who never complains, never asks for anything, never makes life hard. And yet even Maggie has added to Marge's burdens. Being a stay-at-home mom means every moment of her day is occupied by someone else's needs. Feeding Maggie, changing her, comforting her when she cries. All tasks Marge takes on willingly, but each one pulls her further away from herself. Although on the bright side, at least Maggie doesn't interrupt with a saxophone solo or a prank call to Moe's.
When I get my hands on you, I'm gonna pull out your eyeballs with a corkscrew.
But nothing is as exhausting as being Homer's wife. Homer, the man-child whose love is real but unreliable, whose promises of improvement always crumble under the weight of his own laziness and selfishness. The nights he forgets their anniversary, the times he chooses beer at Moe's over dinner with his family, the harebrained schemes that put them all at risk. It's all so terribly familiar. Honestly, if bad decisions were currency, Homer would have retired a billionaire. Homer loves her, sure, but sometimes Marge feels like she's just another part of the furniture. Something comforting and reliable, there when he needs her, and ignored when he doesn't. How many times has she put her own needs aside to make sure Homer is happy? How many times has she forgiven him for failures that would have ended most marriages? Seriously, even Ned Flanders would have filed for divorce by now, and that man forgives everything. Then there's Springfield itself. The town she calls home is a breeding ground for chaos and lunacy. Gossiping neighbors, judgmental churchgoers, and every other eccentric character that fills the town streets. Marge does her best to fit in, attending bake sales, volunteering at the church, joining the community events, but there's a loneliness that comes with it, a feeling that no one really knows her, not even the man she sleeps beside every night. And it's not like she hasn't tried to break free. She's attempted careers before. Police officer, real estate agent, even a pretzel business. Each time something held her back. Usually it's Homer, either through his incompetence or sabotage, or his outright refusal to support her. Other times it was her own sense of duty to her family. Someone had to be the responsible one, the adult in the room, and that someone was always Marge. You'd think someone with blue hair that high would be easy to notice, but somehow they still overlook her. Being Marge isn't about failure. It's about settling. It's about accepting that your happiness is secondary to everyone else's. It's about swallowing your dreams and pretending they weren't worth chasing in the first place. And probably about reheating dinner for the 4th time because someone forgot what time family meal is again.
Beer.
The cruel irony is that Marge loves her family so much she's willing to endure the drudgery and heartbreak over and over again. And that love, unreciprocated, in the way she truly needs it, has trapped her in a life where her own happiness is an afterthought. Still, she smiles through it because someone has to. And the dog already is asleep on the remote again. But there's a part of her buried deep beneath the years of sacrifice and compromise that still dreams. It's faint, almost forgotten, but it's there. And sometimes when the house is quiet and everyone else is asleep, she allows herself to imagine what life could have been like if she had put herself first. But morning always comes, and Marge Simpson always wakes up to the same crushing reality. For Marge Simpson, resilience has always been a necessity, not a choice. Her life is a loop of sacrifices she makes so often that they become invisible even to herself. She's the quintessential caregiver, the one who remembers everyone's birthday, who irons Homer's shirts even when she knows he'll stain them by lunchtime. Her days bleed into each other, lost in a haze of obligations and routines. Sure, there are moments of joy, laughter, shared over dinner, hugs from her children, small signs that her love is not entirely thankless. But for every smile, there are a dozen moments of disappointment. Homer's well-meaning but bumbling efforts to help around the house usually end with her cleaning up an even bigger mess. It's like trying to keep a sinking boat afloat with nothing but a sponge.
Get your hands off my husband!
People always say Marge is patient, loving, and forgiving, but the truth is, she's tired. Tired of being the fixer, the forgiver, the one who has to hold everyone else together while slowly falling apart herself. Her marriage to Homer is a constant test of endurance. She loves him deeply, but that's the worst part, because it's the love that keeps her trapped in a never-ending cycle of hope and disappointment. Homer makes promises, so many promises, to be better, to be more considerate, to appreciate her more.
I have the confidence that comes from knowing I get to go home to you.
No.
Sometimes he even follows through for a while, but the improvement is always temporary. An illusion that shatters the moment he sees a shiny new distraction. Marge remembers the early days of their relationship, before the children, before the house, before everything became about holding the family together. Homer was different then, still clumsy and imperfect. But his enthusiasm had been charming rather than frustrating. Back then, his wild schemes had felt like adventures, not disasters waiting to happen. But now, his recklessness feels like carelessness, his laziness feels like neglect, and his promises, which used to sound so genuine, now feel like hollow echoes. It's not that Marge resents being a mother or a wife. She adores her children and cherishes the good moments with Homer. But her entire identity has become entangled with her role as caregiver. People rarely see her as Marge, the woman with her own dreams and desires. She's always just Homer's wife or Bart and Lisa's mom. And that, more than anything, makes her feel invisible. She's tried to push back against it, to reclaim some piece of herself. The painting, the real estate business, even her brief stint as a police officer, each attempt to break out of the mold has been thwarted by circumstances beyond her control. And more often than not, it's Homer who drags her back down. Like the time she started her pretzel business, it was successful, wildly so, in fact. For the first time in ages, she felt a sense of accomplishment that was hers alone. But Homer couldn't stand her independence. Instead of supporting her, he turned her success into another one of his outrageous schemes, getting the mob involved to infiltrate her business until it collapsed under its own weight. Or the time she joined the police force, she was good at it, damn good. But the pressure to balance her new career and her duties at home became unbearable. Homer offered no help, no support. Instead, he made everything harder, leaving her with no choice but to give up something she was genuinely good at. And always, it's Marge who's expected to forgive and forget. Homer apologizes sometimes with real sincerity, sometimes with flowers, and sometimes with nothing but a sheepish grin. And Marge forgives him, because what else is she supposed to do? Homer's selfishness would be easier to stomach if he wasn't so infuriatingly lovable. Despite all his flaws, his failures, his broken promises, he still makes her laugh. He still holds her hand when they walk down the street. He still looks at her with genuine affection. And that's the trap. The love is real, but it's also suffocating. Marge is so busy making sure Homer is happy that she rarely asks herself if she's happy too. It's as though her own needs are mere afterthoughts, relegated to the moments between laundry loads and grocery shopping trips. Sometimes when she's alone, Marge allows herself to dream. She dreams of being recognized for her talents, of being appreciated for something other than her ability to keep the household running. She dreams of a life where her worth isn't defined by how well she takes care of everyone else. But even those dreams feel guilty, because what kind of mother resents her own children? What kind of wife wishes her own husband would just go away for a while so she could breathe? Marge pushes those thoughts aside, ashamed of her own resentment. The worst part is that Springfield itself feels like a cage. Everyone knows everyone else's business, and Marge's struggles are often dismissed as just part of a joke. People love to laugh at Homer's stupidity, but they rarely consider the toll it takes on the woman who has to live with him every day. The townspeople see her as a saint, a woman with infinite patience and kindness, and that's part of the problem. Because the more they expect her to be perfect, the harder it becomes for Marge to admit her own pain. Sometimes she imagines what life would be like if she left, if she just packed her bags and walked out the door, leaving Homer to fend for himself. The idea is tempting, but it feels impossible. Where would she go? What would she do? Her entire life has been defined by her family. Walking away would mean abandoning everything she's worked so hard to hold together. And so Marge stays. She stays because she loves them. She stays because she can't imagine a life without them. Even if that life leaves her feeling unfulfilled and unseen. Being Marge Simpson isn't about heroism or martyrdom. It's about enduring a life where love and duty are so intertwined that separating them feels impossible. It's about surviving day by day, clinging to the small moments of happiness and pretending they're enough. But deep down, Marge knows they aren't. And maybe, just maybe, that's the saddest part of all. Life as Marge Simpson might be tough, but there's another character out there whose life might be even more tragic.